You've heard of The Wizard of Oz. You've heard of Wicked. But have you ever heard of The Marvelous Land of Oz, the unfamiliar book sequel to The Wizard of Oz? Today you're going to learn 10 facts about The Marvelous Land of Oz. Remember to like, subscribe, and who is your favorite Oz character? Let me know in the comments below. Author L. Frank Baum published The Marvelous Land of Oz in 1904, which was a direct sequel to his incredibly popular bestseller, The Wizard of Oz, which was published just 4 years prior. This sequel had a very different feel to it than the first. This book was modeled after real-life events, like the suffrage movement. This was seen through the characters of General Ginger and her women soldiers taking over Emerald City. L. Frank Baum included this theme because his mother-in-law and wife were both part of suffrage movements. There is one extremely popular Wizard of Oz character who is not present in this book, and that is everyone's favorite Kansas farm girl, Dorothy Gale. L. Frank Baum decided to keep Dorothy at home on her farm in Kansas this time, and introduced new characters for people to fall in love with, named Tip and Jack Pumpkinhead. Dorothy is mentioned several times in the book, however. This sequel does a complete 180 when it comes to gender representation. This book features a much heavier female presence and leans towards feminist beliefs. Two of the biggest female characters in this book are General Ginger and Princess Ozma. This book challenges the roles women play in Oz, with power not being exclusive to just males. The topics of matriarchy, suffrage, and persecution are all covered in this book. This book introduces a couple new characters, Tip and Jack Pumpkinhead. Jack Pumpkinhead ended up becoming a really loved character by many. He has been called the most dear doofus on the planet. His endearing personality and uniqueness really captivated fans. He has been said to be a major inspiration for Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas. This next fact is extremely controversial, especially for its time. Believe it or not, transgenderism is a big topic of this book. The character of Princess Ozma was born a female, but was transformed into a boy named Tip by an evil witch. The character of Tip is described as a feminine child. At the end of the book, Tip undergoes magical surgery and transforms back into the female body of Princess Ozma. Crazy to think that over a century later, transgender representation is a huge topic of debate. This story really was ahead of its time. This book is full of topics that are everyday conversations in 2025, so it's surprising that we have never gotten a live-action adaptation of this book. Yet. However, we have gotten a stage play and other adaptations of this story. In 1981, it was turned into a musical by Thomas W. Olson and was performed at the Children's Theater Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. There was another play called The Woggle Bug, which was not successful, unfortunately. There were a few low-budget movie adaptations, but none of them are memorable. The closest adaptation was in Return to Oz in 1985, but it was very loosely inspired by the book. It ended up being a flop for Disney. Producers said, audiences were not ready for something that deviated so much from the original. The Marvelous Land of Oz sounds like a rather intriguing sequel, right? Well, it almost didn't happen. The success of The Wizard of Oz was a big win for L. Frank Baum, so he felt like one book was enough. But his avid fans wanted more. He was hounded by people to write more stories, and he did not want to disappoint them, so he continued to write. Another big motivator was money. L. Frank Baum's finances were not stable, so he wrote more books to stay afloat. Unfortunately, he ended up filing for bankruptcy in 1911. L. Frank Baum wrote more books about Oz than people realize. The Wizard of Oz and The Marvelous Land of Oz are his most recognizable works, but he ended up writing 14 full-length books about the magical world of Oz. After his death in 1919, other authors continued writing stories. There are a total of 40 stories that have been dubbed The Famous 40 by fans. Many are hoping that these books are turned into movies and TV series someday. This book differs from the first in every way, even the main character theme. The character of Tip is vastly different from Dorothy, and his theme has more layers to it. The main theme focuses on identity and self-discovery, especially when it comes to Tip's transformation into Princess Ozma. There is also a prominent theme of the complexities of power, shown through both the protagonist and antagonist. And lastly, this book challenges moral ideas and subverts traditional tropes of the fairy tale genre. This book aligns more with society's critical thinking structure at the time, It also focuses on a character's motivation and moves away from absolute statements regarding what goodness really is. The Marvelous Land of Oz gives readers a more complex, thought-provoking story. Well, there it is. 10 facts about the Marvelous Land of Oz. I hope you learned something new. Remember to like and subscribe. See you soon.